RIGGIO, yeah, y'all know what time it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kiss My Keister on Society Bites Radio with our third installment. Here with me is Kate, and I'm going to have her talk a little bit, but...
Today's show is brought to you by Sassy Sisters of Sarasota, Bradenton, Inglewood, Lakewood Ranch. We're a group of women. We're crazy. We like having fun, and we like honoring our womanhood.
That's awesome. So we have a bunch of great articles that we have found just today for our audience. So some of it might overlap, but we tried to find a lot different ones. So with that, we're going to start off with back in 1992, two friends made an agreement that if one of them won some money off the lotto, they would split it. Wouldn't you know, one of them actually won it for $2.2 million.
I could handle $1.1 million.
Well, you got to remember, they still got to take the taxes out. So, therefore, as soon as you take taxes and all this other stuff, you probably not get 1.1.
Well, and the problem with that is?
No. Hey, I'm just glad the friend still remembered the arrangement, because could you imagine if you won and you found out your friend won? You're like, hey, wait, remember that deal that we shook hands on back in the day?
Well, 18 years is a long time to remember a promise, but I'm fairly impressed.
This kind of reminds me of the story about like all the coworkers where they all go in on like the shares of like lotto tickets, and there's that one person that doesn't get it, and then everyone wins. They're all like, oh.
No, I'm afraid I wouldn't have a whole lot of mercy.
Well, that's good to know.
They could have chipped in a buck.
Well, they could have. I'm not saying they can't.
They could have gone to the car and dug under the car seats and found 4 quarters. Come on.
This is true. This is true. But here's another little funny tidbit on the lottery is I saw a video a while ago with a bunch of people that basically took a lotto machine that you can go from the store. I think they spent $300+ just to get all the tickets out of the machine. And after they scratched off all the tickets, I think they only got like $100 and some odd dollars back.
Okay, so what was the point in emptying the machine?
They wanted to see if they would win big, but obviously they didn't.
Do people not realize how many tickets are in those machines?
Hey, some people, they just like to splurge. It's fine. And it was a social experiment, they said, too. Wink, wink, social experiment.
Yeah, my right arm. I don't think so.
Why don't you think so? Wouldn't you? If you were given $300 and said, Kate, go to that machine and just buy all the tickets, you wouldn't do it?
No.
What would you do with the $300?
I'd put it in savings. That's my $300 now.
I love it.
You're going to give me $300. It ain't going on lottery tickets. I can tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. Unless I have a half good, decent luck. So I may have gotten some money back, but I'm probably with you. I wouldn't have done savings, but I would have put it towards some kind of thing for like a vacation.
Well, maybe.
You don't even want to go on a vacation now? You just want to...
Oh, I definitely want to go on a vacation. I just want to go somewhere where I don't have to wear a mask. Oh, gosh. I talked about the COVID again. Sorry. We promised we weren't going to do that.
Well, I know we weren't, but, that's the topics of some of the things you can't get away from it. Even when you're looking for articles, it still pops up.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to find something that isn't COVID-related anymore.
I mean, if you don't hurt us too much, we can go back in time and look at past articles and we can talk about those.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to talk about the FDA's rolling list of potentially dangerous hand sanitizers. I know that we're all trying to stay healthy and stay well, but apparently there are approximately 87 products that have tested positive for methanol. Now, methanol, if it sounds like gasoline to you, that's because that's what it is. It's fuel. And they're suggesting that these list of cleansers to be recalled because of the toxic chemical. So I think with COVID, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't you think? At this point, let's take a quick break for our sponsors. Cinnamon, sage, peppermint, and nutmeg, jasmine, and lemon. Oh my! Sounds like recipes for the holidays, when in reality, these are the ingredients for better living with Young Living essential oils. Whether it's stress, heart health, sleep, or chronic pain, these oils are produced from exclusive organic farms from around the world. Contact Susan Viteri for more information on how you, too, may be able to disable discomfort. For a better way of living, 773-805-6996. For a free consultation, tell her you heard it here on Society Bites Radio. That number again is 773-805-6996. Habla Español. And we are back. All right. Well, where we left off was the hand sanitizer situation, which was, I find that somewhat alarming because I use hand sanitizers from every store I go to, and I don't pay attention to product name. So I'm a little concerned now. How much gas do I have in my system now? Can I make it to next weekend?
Well, that's true. Well, first, the thing is,
how many miles to the gallon am I going to get?
That's a great question. But my main question is, first you have to find the hand sanitizer. Now it's coming back into stock in certain stores, but at the time, people weren't caring. They're like, ooh, hand sanitizer. It's like, look, shiny object.
You still can't find Lysol.
No, you can't.
It's like gold. It's just impossible to find. I've been all over the place, and I've had people out hunting, and they can't find it either.
You really go hunting for it? Like, do you go out with like a spear and go, ooh, there's Lysol, and throw it?
Catch that Lysol.
I actually go with a bow, and if I find it, I shoot it, and I just knock it down.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if you did that today, you'd probably blow up the can.
Well, it is what it is. So... to go off on a different tangent, this is really interesting as we were talking about the whole COVID thing. A Florida person actually manipulated the system for PPP and actually got a lot of money. And instead of using it for what it was intended, he used some of it for luxury items and he bought himself a Lamborghini.
I don't know about you, but all I got was my stimulus. And I know there are still people waiting for their stimulus. I'm kind of wondering what he did that granted him such status that he could have that kind of money when the rest of us are just scraping by.
So that is a great comment and question right there. But here's the caveat of it all, if you want to say. When the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, came out, it was basically intended for small businesses to have for their employees so they can actually pay them so they don't have to lay them off or furlough them. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the small businesses weren't getting it. The big businesses were, so that was the whole big thing. But when the small businesses were accepted, they were getting it within 2 weeks because they wanted to make sure they had the money in the bank for their employees to do whatever. But people like me who couldn't do PPP and we had to go for the $1,000 stimulus thing, we had to wait for 2 months for my $1,000 to come in. And then the stimulus check to help out too, which now they're talking about another stimulus relief, which there's going to be cutbacks here and there.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Well, they are talking about pay cuts for the next stimulus relief.
Well, whose pay cuts? Ours?
Well, I don't know if they're really talking more about like the unemployment people. So instead of getting X amount, you're going to get X amount.
Instead of getting $800 a week, you're going to make more?
No, you're going to get less.
Oh, you're going to get less.
Yeah, that's what it was saying in the article. So,
well, just for those of you who know, when we were off the air for a little while because of COVID, we didn't get a stimulus package. And what COVID relief we did get was personal. We were told we were too small of a company. You had to have, 5 to 10 employees or more, I think, to get the PPE. And we didn't qualify.
Yep.
So we have done this on our own, so pat us on the back. We did good.
Exactly. You survived.
We survived.
Now I only wonder if you have to have that song in the back. We survived. We survived. Sorry. Going off there.
Now, that's I Will Survive.
I know, but
Donna Summer, come on.
Come on. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Yeah, it shows. Just kidding.
That's fine. I take it.
Well, if we're going to go that route, let's talk about the incredible rare blue lobster that was saved by the Red Lobster employees. Now, I got a question about that because that one kind of bothered me a little bit. Now, they're getting food. They're having importing done, but yet we don't really see any restaurants that are, like fully open or anything like that. But as luck would have it, a rare blue lobster ended up at Red Lobster, and the employees found it a wonderful home in a sanctuary, and they named it Claude. Now, can you think of a better name for a lobster than that? That was awesome.
No, I loved it. And what was so funny was it says this is a genetic thing that happens in lobsters that 1 out of 2 million actually have this genetic disposition where they have a blue shell. So does that mean 1 out of 2 million get survived from Red Lobster at all times?
Well, yeah, it would. It would if it goes through Red Lobster. But here's the interesting part. That's about the 4th blue lobster that I've heard about in the last 2 to 3 years. So that tells me that when you go out to eat, order lobster because there must be a lot of it.
Yeah, there is.
Over 2 million.
Well, yeah, 1 out of 2 million actually come out the blue shell. It's going to be very interesting, but it was great that the Red Lobster host or hostess found them a home with the sanctuary. But, man, could you imagine if that one person wanted that blue lobster and they couldn't have it? Like, but I wanted that blue lobster.
It's pretty, but it tastes awful.
That's how we'll go with this. It just tasted awful.
Yeah, it tasted awful. You wouldn't like it.
No.
So what else is going on?
So, Katie, maybe you can enlighten me and our listeners because I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen some of my friends, but what is this women supporting women selfie movement that's going on Instagram right now?
Well, we are celebrating women in business, intelligent women. It doesn't matter what color you are or what creed or what your ethnicity is. It doesn't make any difference. What it does is it celebrates women who are hard workers, business associates. Take a look at some of the stars that even got in on this. Is Kerry Washington, Khloe Kardashian, Cindy Crawford, Aisha Curry, Reese Witherspoon. Every one of these ladies has a different ethnicity. Every one of them has a different background, but they're all powerful women in their own right. So by submitting a black and white photo of you, no race, color, creed, religion, or politics is involved. It's just a picture of you, black and white. It doesn't represent anything, but you're a woman who celebrates womanhood.
But I have a question about this. If March is National Women's Month, wouldn't this have coincided with that? Versus
it would have if COVID hadn't closed us down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm thinking you're a couple months little late or early, depending.
Well, yeah, could be. I think right now we're just concerned about trying to portray something in a positive light. And it means that, it doesn't matter what's your background. If you're a woman in business or you're just a woman supporting other women, and as I said, with our Sassy Sisters, that's a lot of what we do. We celebrate our womanhood, and we celebrate women who have done good things. And we help women who have not.